So I am literally in the middle of this incredible temple. We've got this huge stone structure that's clearly some sort of sculpture, but it's been cracked and I don't see the head anywhere. But then you've also got these really beautiful stones with ancient Greek writing on them, almost in a sense looking like tombstones, but I wouldn't be surprised if it had some sort of ancient scripture on it. And then behind me you can see the entranceway. I have a feeling that this was in honor of the Greek gods who used to roam this island and also apparently were born right here on this island. I really feel like this right here, this is where I was drawn to, the island of Delos. And this island used to have over 50,000 inhabitants back in the day, back when it was thriving. And this was around 8,000 BC, if you could believe it. 8,000 years before Christ. This was a thriving island, thriving community. Now, apparently the reason why this island, and all the Greek islands, and there's a lot of them, apparently the reason why this island in particular was so honored and also so popular is because this used to be the birthplace, apparently the actual physical birthplace of Artemis and Apollo. Now, Artemis and Apollo, for those of you who don't know, are actually twins. They're gods that are twins, and they were born from Zeus. And I believe Zeus's mistress's name was Io, but I'm not totally sure. So Zeus actually had a wife, and I guess Zeus turned on his wife and ended up getting a mistress. And with that mistress, he created these children, Apollo and Artemis. And these children were twins at birth. And because Zeus's wife was so powerful, I forget her name, was so powerful, he was so scared that no matter where he had these children, no matter where these children were being born, his wife was going to basically find them and kill them, because he was so worried about that. Now, although this is all kind of ancient Greek legend, I truly believe that ancient Greek gods were actually, I believe that they were actually Anunnaki beings. I believe that these ancient Greek gods, Zeus, Apollo, I believe that they were all Anunnaki beings, and that's why they are depicted as giants. I mean, I'll just go ahead and stand beside this structure. And obviously, like, I'm a little human, but this structure right here, okay, this is a half of a human. This is a half of a god. So this right here looks like almost the knee, right? This is the knee. It comes right up to my belly button, and that right there at the top would be the not even close to the shoulders. So if you can imagine the scale and the size of these beings, they were huge. I believe that these Anunnaki beings who roamed the planet were around 10 to even 20 feet tall. And it's been known that all over the world, these giant skeletons have been found. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if there were giant skeletons that were found right here on this island that were actually kept hidden, kept secret. And ultimately, I believe that if they weren't found already, they're probably still buried here somewhere. Now, they're starting to excavate. They don't really have the manpower or the resources. So, I mean, there's probably another 50, 60 years of excavation that needs to happen around here, which is, really quite incredible. They've really uncovered maybe 10, 20% of this entire island of Delos. So there's a lot more to discover. So I'm just going to tune into the energy of this place right here, the whole island, and this temple, because it just feels so so special. Let's take a look. Let's see what comes through and what information the energy of this place is. So 1 second, sorry about the wind. Wow, okay. Oh my goodness, so much validation. So, yes, of course, I want to validate that these Greek gods were actually Anunnaki beings. And it's so interesting because the second I closed my eyes to tap into the energy of this island, right away there's these giant Anunnaki spirits who are here on the island. Now, usually when I'm in ancient places, I encounter a lot of like ancient spirits. Usually they're human spirits. These were giant. I mean, they were like probably around 10 to 15 feet tall. They looked very humanoid, and they were guards. They weren't the gods. They were guards. They could be regarded as gods as well because they were also Anunnaki. But yeah, they were just absolutely incredible, super powerful beings. And right away, they told me that this was sacred land and that they didn't approve of me being here and channeling the energy. And I said, but don't you want this information to get out? Like, don't you want people to know the truth? Like, don't you want to know what happened here? And don't you want people to know what happened here? And I think they got approval from some of the other beings to allow me to get this information, because right away the stream of information came through me, and the information that came through was going back to when Apollo and Artemis were born on this island. So they were literally physically born on this island. It wasn't just a myth by any means. They were actually born here. This is all long time ago. This could have been like even 10 to 15 to maybe even 20,000 BC, but it was a while ago. And it's interesting because Zeus and his mistress, okay, these beautiful Greek, not Greek, but these beautiful Anunnaki beings, they did have to run away. They were seeking refuge from his wife. Now, it wasn't that the wife had a bunch of superpowers in a way that the myths, kind of laid it out. She was very powerful, but they were just looking really for any island that wasn't inhabited so that they could have these children in peace. And they chose this island. And I think that there were maybe a couple of fishermen and a couple of humans here. But after they were born here, a lot of other people ended up coming because they were so powerful that they were able to create and make these beautiful stone structures. And upon creating these incredibly beautiful stone structures, and other people catching wind and word that these gods were here on this island, and I think maybe at the time, I don't know if they were considered or revered as gods, or if they were just considered or revered as everyone else. A lot of the time, these beings, these Anunnaki beings, in coming to this planet, they're only revered and understood or believed to be gods well after their time, well after being here. There's so many. So I think at the time it was kind of considered to be these giant humans, and then it was only after when they were really kind of considered to be these mythical beings or these godlike creatures. And it was really cool because it came through very clearly that Zeus, which was Artemis and Apollo's father, was obviously a very powerful man, and he was far more connected to the Anunnaki, far more connected to the gods in that sense, than his children, which I think was really interesting. So it could have very well been the fact that Zeus was one of the original Anunnaki seed planters on this planet, creating the human species and potentially just being here to scout out the land. Whereas when Artemis and Apollo were born here, and I got all these visions and visuals, when they were born here, they felt way more connected to the land, way more connected to this planet, and way more connected to the people on this planet. So they felt, even though they were full Anunnaki, so there's full gods and then also demigods, and the demigods were the beings who were created from they were the children of men and the children of the gods, the children of the Anunnaki, the children of humans, so both Apollo and Artemis, the twins, they felt way more connected to humans, they felt way more connected to this land, and they really valued this land, and they really valued things like song and dance and music and hunting and those type of energies. And so they were here for the people. So even though they were full Anunnaki and they were still really freaking huge, they were here for the people, and they had the mission of actually bringing together the people and the gods, the people and the Anunnaki, the people and the interdimensional beings, right? And they really felt caught in between, but they were also respected from both sides. The people obviously really respected them because they were powerful, they were strong, and they were connected to the cosmos. And of course, the Anunnaki respected them because they were full blood. They were fully Anunnaki. So let's see if I can get some information specifically about this place right here. Let's see if there's any information that comes through. So let's see. It feels like this place right here that I'm sitting in. This was in honor of Artemis and Apollo, especially because this was their birthplace. Zeus, I believe, wasn't really around here quite often. He left shortly after they were born, and so this structure that I'm sitting in, this was actually built after both Artemis and Apollo left this island, and it wasn't too long after, like maybe a generation or two, maybe even sooner than that, maybe 50 years, maybe 20 years after they left, this structure right here and that sculpture right there. So I want to say that is Artemis. That sculpture was built after. And so this was supposed to be in honor of them. And it feels like all of these tablets that have all of these carvings and information are actually the ancient texts and the ancient knowledge given to these people and to this island by Artemis and Apollo. And it looks Greek, but it also looks much more ancient than Greek. So I'm interested to see if anyone has actually translated the information on these tablets and these stones, which would be really interesting to find out. And then let's see if there's anything else that comes through with these on this island information. Let's take a look here. Okay, there's a really interesting fact. And right away, once again, I tapped in, and hopefully you guys can hear the movement, but I tapped in, and I got the the guards again, the ancient Annunaki guards. I feel like they're making a lot of the wind actually up here, which is really interesting. And I feel like they're responsible for this. But they told me, I told them that it was okay to leave. I said it was, what are you guys still doing here? Like this civilization is long gone. There's no need to be here anymore. And so you should leave. Like you should go find your own path, like move on, get another life, get another body, get another incarnation, sort of thing. And they said, we can't leave. And I said, why can't you leave? And they said, because there are still secrets that are hidden here that we need to protect. And I said, okay, well, tell me, like, what kind of secrets are here that you're protecting? And instantly, obviously, they got the word or the heads up or the agreement from the powers that be. All of a sudden, the wind is very calm, and so the information that they're protecting is actually something that's buried underground on this island. Something that's buried here. And I said, what is it that's buried here? And at first, I'm like, instantly, I thought it was maybe a spaceship. I'm like, oh, is it because Zeus came here on a spaceship? And they said, no, it's definitely not a spaceship. It feels like they came actually, Zeus and his wife, Zeus and his girlfriend actually came here on a boat. But apparently, it's this giant golden statue. And it could be a giant golden statue of Zeus, it could be a giant golden statue of Artemis and Apollo, or both, or all of them. And I said, well, where did this statue come from? Like, is there gold on the island? Like, how do you have a giant golden statue on this island? And he said, this statue was a gift from another, I don't know if it was a mainland, I don't know if it was like another empire or civilization, I don't know if it was like other Anunnaki beings around the world, but the statue was given to the people here on the island during the time of ancient Greece, and once again, 8,000 BC, 10,000 years ago. And so apparently the statue was buried because people were worried back in the day that the statue was going to be taken. And I think even 8,000 years ago, the statue was buried. I think that the statue was given to Apollo and Artemis a long time ago. And then the statue remains here because there's information carved onto the statue. There's information that's almost like ingrained or given to the statue that really kind of anchors in the vibration of this island. And one last thing, I'm going to do one more thing, which is I just want to see if I can actually maybe receive the information from this statue. So 1 second, let's see if we can wrangle this hair here. That's better. Okay. Let's take a look and see if I can maybe tune into the frequency of the statues. Maybe some information. I want to say that maybe the statue came from the mainland of Greece. Oh, it could have been Athens. Yeah, it could have been the thriving empire of Athens that this statue came from. Because it definitely feels like Anunnaki, but it also feels like their same civilization, right? So this is Greece, that's Greece, but this is just one important island within the whole empire of Greece. And the information that came through with the statue, I didn't get it all. It's a huge download of information. And it feels like a lot of the information is out there. It feels like this information did escape, and it probably ended up getting out there in the empire of Athens. Because the information has a lot to do with, what did I hear? I heard the words, underworld. The beginning of the underworld, and how the underworld was formed and created, and then the divide between the gods, the divide between the Anunnaki, between the underworld and the above world, or heaven and hell, in a sense. it's crazy how a lot of the world religions have actually mirrored after some of these, Anunnaki and ancient stories and civilizations. So a lot of what that sculpture has written on it is the information of, basically the origin stories of this planet, which is really incredible and really powerful. And that's why, even to this day, this this whole island is very, very protected, secluded, and very important to them, to the Anunnaki. And because there are guards, Anunnaki guards who are on this island, I wouldn't be surprised if they made it next to impossible for the sculpture to be found. And I don't know how they would do that, but I really feel like they would protect it. And one last thing is, I asked the Anunnaki guards, I said, will the sculpture ever be found? Is it meant to be found? Is it supposed to be found? And they said, yes. At one point in time, on this planet, the sculpture will be found and the information will be released. And they told me it's only when the information is already released and known to the public, to the greater public. It's so interesting. So I guess we have to discover and collectively receive that information about the origin stories and have that be common knowledge before that sculpture is found. Maybe in our lifetime, maybe in 2,000 years from now, maybe in 8,000 years from now. Who knows? So thank you all for sitting with me. So sorry about the wind. Probably should have put my hair up a long time ago. But yeah, it's been an incredible channel here on the island of Delos in Greece. Have a beautiful rest of your day, everyone.